Well, g'day, folks. We are back this time at the second Benton property. Let me get rid of that. We'll bring up this screen. See if we can see what's going on.
But my message is, when you go back to Vic Grid, and you should have Vic Grid, and you should have a Vic Grid jacket on what I'm saying all this one do, because that's sort of that our consultation is we're really, from the CRG point of Charlton, the 3.5 years questions have been asked, and we're not getting the answers back. We've got devaluation. The shires have finally woken up. You're going to get resistance from the shires when they wake up what's happening with their valuation of the land. And you won't have just us group here, you're going to have other ratepayers are suddenly going to wake up. For example, this property here, what's happened is the valuation of this has dropped 25% because according to the land valuer, and I don't think it was telling Joey's, what they did was they measured up the area of land and they devalued that to zero because they said, well, and if you people took it by compulsory acquisition, we don't even own it anymore. So the amount of money Shire rates are going to drop in down Warwickshire on 98 assessments, it's going to be considerable. And then suddenly people are going to wake up, hang on a minute, I'm going to have to pay more for my rates because for these farmers in the town, the farmers' cost come through. So I want to come through and I went straight to real estate people. I said, look, I'm sick of the stage. I'm 83, you like the house here, what about selling the property? Now, look, the way we've got two properties over Charlton for myself for 12 months. People will not purchase land anywhere near where the town was. And you can go over what I said this morning, and no doubt. Of our land mass, our arable land mass, there's a big difference between arable land mass and bloody trees like over there, in food production. We're not going to be worrying about the lights going out, we're going to be worried about where your next meal comes from. And the sooner the people realise that, the better. So, I've been my journey, really.
Well, thank you for your time. That's great. You explained it really well. So I appreciate the good conduct of your staff as well. Similar to this morning with my colleagues that we have spoken with, I do have to go through the next process, which is issuing a formal warning that it is an offence to not allow access to the survey today. The section 3 of the legislation, and I have to direct you to open the date.
Yep.
Will you open up again?
No, I won't. I think I've made it work pretty clear. Yeah. Look, we're not aggressive people, and what I'm just trying to promote that, for God's sake, the minister should be aware that we want to sit down and discuss what our concerns are. We're not getting to the table to discuss. Look, the minister, if it had, I think I've made a point pretty clear there. Look, we're not aggressive people, and what I'm just trying to promote that, for God's sake, the minister should be aware that we want to sit down and discuss what our concerns are. We're not getting to the table to discuss it. Look, the minister, if it had anything between her ears, and no disrespect to her, but if she had anything between her ears, and her advisors should be saying, look, there's a major issue in Victoria, let's go and talk to the people. I've got people sitting that are in here that sit on the committee with me, and they'd only be too happy to sit down at the table. It might take forever. I've been through a lot of debates in my career where you start off miles apart, somewhere where we've got to go, and that's what I'm hoping.
Thank you. You make really good points.
Excuse me, Sean. Sorry to interrupt you. It's an offence to block access for you today. How many cases have been tested since Jacinta passed that legislation? How many have been successful? How many have failed? And what sort of statistics have you got to back that up?
I'm not authorised to speak on that behalf at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to. We're here just talking about the access, so we don't comment.
So you're actually making a veiled threat about Section 93 that you have no idea whether it's even been tested in court and it is actually passed it from a legal point of view.
We're here just to discuss the access here now.
I appreciate your time, Darren, but unfortunately we're just here to talk about land access for the ecological surveys. But if you do have a question about that, get onto your land liaison officer and ask them, get onto them, just have a chat and try and really gauge what they're thinking about it and what they can tell you about it all. At the moment, I'm just here for access for the ecological surveys, and that's all I can really help with at the moment.
Yep.
But I appreciate your question and thank you. Is there anything else that we can do to help facilitate?
Has anybody else got a question through me, or no? People are.
What happens to all the rates with the farms? Are they going to compensate the farmers some of these rates that they've got to pay now for trial rates and things, or so who looks after is it an easement?
It's an easement we take, but in terms of those questions about rates and things, keep talking to your landlord liaison about that. Again, we're here just to talk about the access today. That's purely what we're here for.
Well, I guess that's a good.
Who looks after underneath the power lines to stop fires and things? Is that up to Big Grid or who?
It's best to talk to, if Vince is your landlord liaison, best to discuss those questions. Again, we're here just to talk about the access today.
Well, I guess what Brett's alluding to, and I didn't make it too clear, irrigation land is a totally different ballgame to dry land in that there are fixed charges on delivery shares on irrigation land. So it would be fair to say out of those 98 assessments between here and Maribit, from here to Maribit anyway, they'd be all irrigation farms who have got a fixed charge. So what I'm saying is if that land was acquired compulsorily and you take it over as the Crown does, there'll be a fixed charge on an annual basis to Gold Murray Water. And what I'm saying is that those charges are going to have to be picked up by the government because the loss of revenue, which will be considerable, because the people are certainly not going to stand by and say, well, hang on a minute, I'm paying delivery shares on a bit of Crown land. So, but nobody, I asked Mick the other night, and he looked at me and didn't understand what I was on about. So what attraction out of anywhere? We're going to have the minister and her advisors to sit down with the people who know the area. I don't go away and tell people in 50 mile away from here what they should be doing. And I haven't really got a lot of time for people come and tell me what to do. So if you're finished, that's okay. You can be excused.
No, thank you for your time.
Yep, no worries. And people got that on tape, have they? Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. And,
Yep,
keep
yep.
in contact with Vince.
Yeah, that.
All right.
Good on
Thank
you.
Everyone. All right.
See ya.
Thanks, Abs.
Well done, Colin.
Well done.
Colin.
So we didn't have to jump over the fence.
Colin's done a great job there, and as you can see, we are having a few transmission issues and a few audio issues. I was able to slip over to Nick's feed off the Billboard Battalion YouTube channel, so that's how we were able to hear the last part of that. Sorry for those audio issues. We are battling with all sorts of things when we're in the middle of nowhere, and I've got a sneaking suspicion that the Billboard Battalion satellite link was getting a bit of a hammering today too, not just from us, but there may have been a couple of others on it too. So I just want to thank Nick from Billboard Battalion and Wade, obviously, who gave permission for Tony to travel along with them today. Oh, still getting a bit of noise back. Oh, where's that one coming from? I'll stop that noise coming from left and right. Yeah, just want to thank them for their help, and Nick especially for giving Tony a bed last night. And the boys are out and about. You can see this from a little earlier today, the first property that the guys went to. This second property, owned by the same people, the Benton family, and it's a slightly different kind of land, as you can tell here, having a bit of a glance at how it all looked. the Billboard Battalion bus front and centre. Really good to see the bus back on the road. Hopefully we'll see mine beside it in the not too distant future. So VNI West once again turned away from the gate today, and their representatives there will not talk about anything else. They will not talk about any of the issues that the farmers or the landholders are raising, simply because they are not empowered to do so. They do not have the authority, and that's probably because they are contractors and are just told to ask one certain set of questions, and beyond that, turn around, get in your car and drive away. They are going to try the process on this, and the Victorian government will be desperate to try and get access and get this sort of thing happening before the state election in November. Now, in reality, they really have, I guess, until about August, because from about August, September time, I think it'll be a caretaker government sort of situation, and they won't be able to, not that that's ever stopped them before, but they shouldn't be able to go off and make very big changes. We'll wait and see, because Victoria, and particularly the Victorian government, has proven itself to be tremendously corrupt at a multitude of levels. And these farmers in the Mallee, the Wimmera, Western Victoria are just the latest to have laws drawn up against them specifically to allow for their land to be taken from them, land that was settled by returned heroes from the First and Second World Wars, and have, in most cases, been kept in the family for generations. And now the government just thinks they can walk on and take it. No doubt we will talk more about it this evening. I want to thank Tony for his big effort of travelling up from Melbourne and joining Nick to head out today and bring us what coverage we did get. And I want to congratulate the farmers who are getting behind each other and supporting everybody involved here. There's not that you saw too many of them there, but there was probably 40 or more farmers at that last farm, and it just goes to show the huge amount of strength. The post that I put up on Facebook has attracted from this morning a whole heap of attention, particularly from people down in the Wimmera. And I'm very surprised. There's a lot of townies that don't truly understand what is going on out there on the land, and when they have it explained to them, they're horrified. So there is a lot more support yet to be gained by these local farmers. And just because we're focused on VNI West and Victoria at the moment doesn't mean we're limiting scope to that. These bastards are putting up 31,500 of these big fans that produce very little and leave us with a ecological debt and problem extending into multiple decades. The farmers themselves who've taken the bait and are getting a fee for 25 years to have this thing on their land don't fully appreciate yet that when that money stops, they're the ones that are going to be responsible for removing that monstrosity from their land. And it has to be removed. It can't just be left there to rot. And it will rot, because remember, it was built by the Chinese, and let's face it, I don't think they've built anything to last since the Chinese Wall, and there's some doubt that they built that. So anyway, that's another story. We shall get back to more of that this evening. Join us for another chat tonight, 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time for the Voice of Freedom tonight. Be safe on the roads if you are travelling around. The dickheads are out there. Some of them are dressed in those pretty white, yellow and black and blue safety shirts and like to go onto farms unannounced. But stay away from them as well.
If you let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!